It is the opening weekend of NCAA Women's Gymnastics for 2023, and we are in Las Vegas, Nevada, and we are on the Big Ten Network. This is Super 16 Gymnastics, presented by Ozone. We're in the Orleans Arena, and the Super 16 has included 16 teams competing in 4 quad meets. And in this quad meet, here are your teams: Arizona State, BYU, Cal Bears, Iowa Hawkeyes. Those are your 4 teams competing in this session. It is going to be a good one. I am John Roethlisberger, and I am alongside former Alabama head coach and NCAA champion, 2-time NCAA champion on the balance beam, Dana Duckworth. Dana, what an amazing way to start the NCAA season.
The best weekend of the year, because they get to unleash 8 months of training and shine under the bright lights. It's going to be a great weekend, awesome competition, and what an awesome opportunity for these women to be on podium.
It's going to be a great event, and today will be a great competition, obviously, as well. Cal Bears, they come in as the highest-ranked team in the preseason rankings. Talk about them. What do you expect?
Cal is probably one of the most underrated teams in the NCAA. They have so much unleashed talent, and it's exciting because they have this next day mentality and just focusing on what is the input today and let the output take care of itself. Looking forward to seeing their fine lines on bars and just put their test, to the challenge.
There's going to be some competition for the Cal Bears, in particular the Iowa Hawkeyes. They're the second highest preseason ranked team in this session. They had a great season last year. How about them?
Iowa is outstanding. They lost a lot of talent. Coaches were sharing that they have 9 newcomers, 7 freshmen, 2 transfers, and that they could be a 190 to a 197 team. So they have all kinds of opportunity. They have some sass in their performance. I'm really excited to see them shine and do what they're capable of.
All right, we're going to get to the gymnastics shortly. But when we come back, we've got some more surprises for you. We've got a couple of guests. We'll introduce you to them on the other side. At the Orleans Arena here in Las Vegas, Super 16 Gymnastics presented by Ozone. We are getting ready for our first rotation of this session. And here's where the teams will start. The Cal Bears will start on the vault. The Iowa Hawkeyes on the uneven bars. Arizona State will start on the balance beam, and BYU will be on the floor exercise. We got a little special treat for you during the course of this competition. We call it the Ozone Coach's Corner, and in that corner we have Jess Graba. He is the coach of Olympic all-around champion Suni Lee, and we have the great Dee Bro, 43 years as a head coach of the LSU Tigers. Coaches, take it away.
I tell you what, this event makes me want to coach. It's been so exciting to be here and watch. A little bit about yesterday. We got to see Fisk come in here and compete, brand new team, a little over a year and a half to put a team together and be ready to compete, and we saw double backs at the end of floor routines.
Yeah, it was impressive.
We also saw Southern Utah come back and win this thing, a hard-fought battle, but then in the second rotation session, it was a three-time change of leads, and it was so exciting.
Yeah, it was a good meet yesterday. Today I want to get right to the nuts and bolts. What I'm looking for today, we saw bars was a separator yesterday. It's definitely going to be a separator today.
Right.
I'm looking for the quality and a little bit more handstand work. And what a lot of people don't understand,
what we look for in a
because
handstand.
like it's a deduction, right? But it's also the lead up for your next skill. So if you're waving on the handstand going into your release move or going into your dismount, it's going to affect your dismount. It's going to affect your release move, and then you get behind the swing. That's what we saw yesterday, and today I'm looking to see if somebody can pick that up a little bit.
We saw some quality warm-up on that event, but I tell you what, balance beam is usually the difference maker in most competitions. I want to see, and what to look for, is that beam eye. Are you centered? Is the center of your body centered with the balance beam? You can stay on the beam and collect a bunch of deductions. Remember, everybody starts at a 10, and they can whack away at it. So let's see what happens.
It'll go fast.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Speaking of the uneven bars, that is where the Iowa Hawkeyes are going to start. That is a pivotal event. As always, Arizona State on that balance beam that Dee had mentioned. Dee's feisty, huh?
She is feisty, but she's got that attitude and that passion, and you cannot deny her enthusiasm.
There are the Iowa Hawkeyes. Quest Hayden, one of the coaches there for the Hawkeyes, the only Big Ten team in this session. Quest Hayden, a great lineage of gymnasts. Dan and Dennis, twin brothers, father and uncle, competed for Team USA.
I love it. You know, when I was watching warm-ups today, you realize this is anybody's meet. This is going to be electric. I mean, there's a lot of great competition. They're sparkling, and it is going to get just fun tonight.
What do you like as a coach? What event was your favorite to start, if you could pick?
Well, Olympic order, I think, is always fun because you want to end on floor where you have the biggest amount of energy and you can close the deal at the end. But, of course, starting on bars and ending on vault isn't bad because you get that last rotation over quickly.
It feels like, too, you start on bars, you get bars and beam out of the way,
yes.
and you can, if they go well, you're feeling good, right? You go to floor and vault and just let her fly.
That's right. Let's see how she does here. We've got a mount to handstand, a little short there.
This is Aubrey Nick leading off.
Single bar release move. Little separation of the legs. There'll be a deduction in there. She moves from the high bar to the low bar with a bail there. Again, at this early of the season, you want to keep pushing those handstands. Big double layout dismount. Now that's a stick.
There you go. No better feeling in the sport of gymnastics than flying high and just nailing that landing. Cal Bears will start on the vault, an event. Talking to Justin Howell, the head coach of the Cal Bears. Last year was a little bit of a weakness for them, trying to upgrade. He thinks they can have 3 or 4 10-0 vaults, and that would be huge for them this season. Andy Lee leads things off. She is a star for this, really a loaded Cal Bears team.
Andy is probably one of the most naturally gifted gymnasts. She tried really hard to get that stick, so the chest was down and the small hop forward. Remember, when you hop forward, it's a bigger deduction than when you're actually moving a little bit backwards. But started off, get those nerves out, right? First meet of the season. Yeah, twist a little early off the table there, and yeah, chest was a little low.
Sometimes you just try a little too hard to stick. I've been there where you finesse it to the ground and don't quite.
Well, and the goal of the beginning of the season, right, is to not overthink. It's to trust your training, get out there and do what you know you're capable of doing. The confidence comes from your preparation. You can see the small talk the girls are having.
Arizona State over on the balance beam. They led off with Kayla Lee in a 9.775. You can see it right there. Sky Harper will be the second gymnast to go. You talk about an event to start on. It seems like the nerves would get to you anytime you do balance beam, but certainly to lead off. But going back to what we said before, you hit five or six solid ones on beam, and it's like that deep breath, right?
Absolutely. The pro is that you get it over with. So what I look for is incredible movement and confidence. That's going to be a 5/10 deduction. That's definitely not the way she wanted to start that routine. Now she's probably using that for a series, so you still see that she'll repeat the skill, trying to get the combination, and she gets it.
Keep in mind, in women's gymnastics, 6 gymnasts compete per event. They count the 5 highest scores. So in a situation here with a fall, Arizona State's going to want to drop this routine, but they can't afford any more mistakes.
Right now, she's wanting to take every other move and be as precise as possible. We always share, you know, that the 6th score can count sometimes if you ever get into a tie. So you can't give up. You got to keep on trying to find every single 10th. For dismount, a handspring gainer full. Small step on that landing. So she did have some deductions here or there, but she can use that and step up. Nevaeh, 3rd vaulter, and she is their 1.5. So she's got a 10-0 start value.
Maddie Williams right before her, 9.75. Andy Lee led off with a 9.725. But now the scores with these 10-0 vaults, they have to start to build. A team like Cal needs to see 9.8s, 9.9s.
All right. Yes, nice little stuck landing there. Nice control. A fun fact, other than one meet, she's competed all around her entire career. What a beautiful 1.5. She sees the landing, watches the floor, and finds it.
You saw co-head coach. It looks like the stick hat, the stick
the bear,
right?
Yeah.
You saw co-head coach Liz Crandall Howell, the wife of Justin Howell, there on that landing. Great coaching team at Cal. Gracie Reeves waiting to go on the balance beam as we wait for Sky Harper's score to come in again. Sky fell, so that is the score they're going to want to drop. It's a 9.225. Just to update you, Iowa on bars. Aubrey Nick led off with a 9.75. Allison Zolke, though, follows that up with a 9.825, so nice there. First 2 scores for Cal, 9.725 and 9.75. Meanwhile, BYU on floor, 1 score in so far, and that is a 9.7 for Sophie Dudley.
I love the unique mount that Grace just used. You know, she's in a really special position here. When you learn to compete after a fall, you build a great deal of mental confidence. She has a triple series, a back handspring layout. I like the way she's moving on the beam. You see that she's taken her eyes off. She's smiling. It brings you down center to the bounce beam. Right here, her leap. Yes, switch leap, split jump, done very pretty. The dreaded full turn there, John. Everyone's got one.
A highly underrated skill.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Setting up for her dismount. The rules changed a little bit on bounce beam, and you have to do a harder dismount these days. A round off 1.5.
Well done. That's what you want to do. You want to stop the bleeding, right? That next one up, always so critical after a mistake.
That's right. That's more important than anything, quite frankly.
Nevaeh D'Souza, a 9.9 for Cal. That's followed up by Maya Lozana, 9.925, and now it just keeps getting better. MJ Frazier, and she's a budding star in collegiate gymnastics, right?
She's amazing. She does some huge, powerful gymnastics, and the coach was sharing that sometimes her flexibility and grace gets overlooked by her power, but she's got both. She's the full package. Double full. Now that's a very difficult vault, one of the best you're going to see in college gymnastics today. And you know, she actually had trouble in warm-ups and in practice, so to adjust and do well, that was her first routine as a freshman of her college career. Not bad.
A college career which no doubt is going to be a fun one to watch. Here's another look.
Yeah, I see a crunch on the table there, so she lost a little bit of height, which hurt her momentum and rotation, but that's something you can learn from.
You mentioned probably the toughest vault being done in collegiate women's gymnastics, the double full. The same value, even though it's more difficult, it's the same value for the 1.5. But it comes down to landings. It's that stick contest on vault.
Well, and you think about it, 1.5 is a blind landing. On a double full, you can see the ground. So there's a lot of benefit when you can do the double full. And some kids can't handle the double versus the 1.5 from a mental, like, air awareness. So, you know, it might be the best choice for her. I'll tell you, the coach says that Marzetta is a personality that's just joy.
Yeah. Also says she has an arsenal of skills, and when you have a talented athlete like that, sometimes it's you got to hold them back a little bit. They want to keep pushing and pushing, and sometimes it's more than you need to do for a collegiate meet.
So true, but at the same time, she apparently is very, very proud of trying the harder gymnastics. So they're incorporating some of the hard skills because she really finds a lot of pride in that.
That's great. Back over to the uneven bars. This is junior Karina McSweeney, the two-time Dean's List member from 2021. Iowa having a good rotation here. She follows a 9.825 from Kendall LaPlante.
Does a blind change into a big piked single release remove right over to an overshoot. They've got some big release moves for this team. Sets up for her dismount. It's a high level, full in. Boom! Oh, she almost got that stick.
It looked like she had the stick, and then she didn't.
Yeah, well, it seemed like her arms were a little loose and she didn't finish it. So, man, I wish she would have pressed in the ground because that was a nice routine. You see her, she gets the chest up, she's right there, but her arms aren't right where she needs to be, so,
So gave away a 10th there on the landing. The low score for Iowa on bars right now, a 9.675. Women's college gymnastics, that's a score you don't want to count. You start to get in the net in the 9.7s. It's a little precarious. It's not going to kill you, but you want to see the top teams 9.8s from the first few gymnasts, and you really need to see those 9.9s pushing a 10 on those last three athletes if you want to be one of the best in the nation. Emily White for Arizona State now is the next gymnast to go. And I've seen a lot of this, Dana, throughout the competition. The previous gymnasts who went going back and staying on the podium, talking to the next athlete. Talk about that a little bit. What's going on?
It's absolute athlete preference, right? You want to get into a routine. You want to practice it in practice, so it's not something new in competition. And so there's normally a ritual, right? The coach and the athlete kind of come up with a plan. Are they walking through the mental choreography? Sometimes they're telling jokes. Sometimes they're talking about breathing or something completely random. Just depends on what each athlete needs. And you know, you have to be careful too. You don't want to overcoach.
Yeah.
Because at this point, you should be in autopilot when you start to perform. And again, this is an awesome opportunity for ASU to have a fall and be able to manage a great rotation in spite of it.
So we talked about the good scores and the scores you didn't want to see. They have a 9.725 from Sarah Clark right before her, trying to drop that 9.225 with two athletes yet to go, Emily White and Hannah Scharf. Potential here to really finish strong and end up with a decent team score on beam.
I will say overall, they have some unique mounts. I like the way ASU is working beam. They seem to be aggressive, very intentional. Her series here, a back handspring, layout. She looked like it was easy peasy.
That was a great view too down the beam. I think parents watch that view and go into cold sweats watching their daughters.
I agree. I'll tell you what stands out with her right here is the releve on point. Very pretty. Front aerial. What an awesome opportunity for them to be on podium first meet of the year. She's setting up here for a split jump into a ring double stag. That is actually a very blind move. It can have some risk. That was probably one of the best I've seen. That was beautiful.
Just to update you, MJ Frazier, a 9.75 for her vault, and Cal finished with Ella Cesario's 9.825.
Other than that minor step on the dismount, that back handspring 1.5 had amplitude. It was controlled. That was a beautiful beam routine.
And clutch. Every routine after a fall, you gotta call them clutch because the pressure is on. One more to go for Arizona State.
You see that she does this back handspring right into a 1.5 twist. Legs are very straight. Just takes that small deduction on the step. But overall, that was a beautiful routine. Should be happy with that.
So again, one more to go for Arizona State. BYU on floor exercise started with a couple of 9.7s. They did have a 9.45 from Sydney Benson in the third spot. But BYU on floor, that is an event that they are really rebuilding on. So if they can get a decent start there, the next 3 events are good for them. We'll see.
That is what Coach shared. Guard said that, you know what, we're either going to make it or break it on the first event because it's a lot of new talent and a lot of new faces. So, you know, you get the opportunity to get the jitters out and see what happens.
We just saw Hannah Scharf next to the balance beam talking to Emily White, who, by the way, Emily White, a 9.9. The third 9.9 in this rotation. We saw 2 from Cal on vault.
You know, the only deduction was the step on the dismount. That was a beautiful routine.
Now the veteran for Arizona State. Such an important piece to the Arizona State puzzle.
Beautiful. Double wolf turn. She made it look easy, but she'd never done gymnastics before. That is a hard skill to do.
Hannah ranked 13th in the nation in the all-around at the end of the regular season last year.
Way to fight.
That was such an important save.
Yes. Now the question is, where is she mentally, right? Once you make the mistake, how fast can you let it go and set up the next skill? Which she did a good job on the side semi. Obviously, she's trying to be pretty perfect because she wants to help her team out here. Switch leap, split jump. You know, every routine has to have a dance combination or a dance acro combination, and that's what that is called. And they've had a variety of them on this team. Another round up, 1.5. See all those blind landings? John, that can make or break you. That is a difficult thing. They small steps here or there.
So gave away some points on that big wobble, but it could have been much worse. They very likely will not have to count that 9.225. Hannah Scharf's score certainly should be above that. But now our first chance to see the BYU Cougars here on floor exercise. We mentioned the start to their rotation. Their 4th gymnast up, Eliza Millar, 9.675. Now this is Heidi Schooley. Their 2.97s to open this rotation are actually the 2 highest scores so far. They need to try to finish here with a couple more 9.8s if possible. Keep this thing close after 1 rotation.
They're putting a lot into their dance. They seem to be very charismatic and putting on a show. That's a combination of, you know, building your endurance up during season too. So she has not done her first tumbling pass quite yet. She's danced into the corner. She starts off with a combination pass, a 1.5 front layout. Switch ring, switch side, gives her some bonus to get that 10.0 start value she's looking for. See the variety of movement. Guard said every routine has a story. Nice double back last pass, a 2-pass floor routine.
Well done.
Fun to watch.
Guard Young told us that this floor lineup is an entirely new roster,
Yes.
except for 1 gymnast. They lost 4 to graduation. 1 actually has a sprained ankle, Lindsay Hunter. They'll get her back. But again, rebuilding that lineup can always be challenging, but it always brings you hope too.
That's right. Well, and when you have multiple athletes and you're pushing for the lineup versus we only have 6 people to do floor, you know, it actually makes it harder sometimes. So the fact that they have some depth and that the young ones are pushing the older ones, and there's an opportunity there for to really grow this event.
The highest score in this rotation so far was Cal Bear's Maya Lazan. You can see the score in the 4 spot, a 9.925, right after Nevaeh D'Souza's 9.9. Here it is.
Wow. Wow.
Back to back.
Oh, she warmed it up that way, and and I thought, can she do it again? You know what's awesome? That she was hurt her freshman year, and Coach felt like this is her breakout season. I would agree.
I tell you what, if they stick any more vaults, Liz Crandall-Howe is going to dislocate both of her shoulders. She had the double fist pump going. You can see her right in the foreground, right there, co-head coach.
Yep.
There it is.
You can't help yourself. You know what's so special about Liz? She loves the sport like you've never seen it. And all she wants these girls to do is trust their training and know that they're capable of doing their best.
Wow, that was fun. Heidi Schooley got a 9.7 for BYU. Now a fun routine here for BYU. Rebecca Ripley finishes things off for the Cougars.
So she's acting like a Barbie. This is the kind of routine that can go viral. Let's watch. She does 3 leaps there, gives her double bonus, which is good. I think she's having fun.
Quite a story. You see that knee brace. That's 2 recoveries from ACL tears, and Guard Young talks about the determination of this young athlete and her will to come back and performing well.
She pulls that double pike out.
Great finish for BYU on floor exercise. Looking for a big number. 397's currently a 9675. They will drop that 945 from Sydney Benson with that Rebecca Ripley score. So a much needed big hit for BYU. They survived floor good enough to keep themselves in the mix?
I believe so. It is going to be a fun day to see how everyone handles the pressure.
So 1 rotation in. There is Guard Young, a former BYU gymnast himself. Also an Olympian, member of the 2004 Olympic team that won silver in Athens, Greece. I was thrilled to be there to watch that one happen. So that is the first rotation is complete. Cal Bears will go to bars. We believe they will be the leader as we're waiting for those final scores and totals to come in. But it already looks like it is going to be a good one. When we come back, maybe, just maybe, we'll hop down there and see what those air quote expert coaches have to say. We are at the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas for the Super 16 presented by Ozone. What a great weekend, opening weekend of women's collegiate gymnastics. After one rotation here, the Cal Bears in the top spot, Iowa, Arizona State in second and third respectively, both less than 4/10 out of first, and BYU currently in fourth place, 7/10 behind the Cal Bears. But never mind what Dana and I think. We're going to go down to the Ozone Coaches Corner and see what Jess and Dee Dee have to say. Go ahead, coaches.
Well, I'll tell you right away what I think. I thought Cal, they said that it was going to be a priority in the offseason to fix their vault. They clearly came out with bigger start values. They missed an opportunity to go 49-4, 49-4-5 on that. They kind of messed up in the middle of their lineup.
But you see, it's there.
It's there if they're going to have it.
Right.
And I think Barr's the same thing. I think Iowa definitely looks like they have all the pieces there. But once you get the judges' pencils moving, they tend to keep moving. And that's what happened.
Handstand position you talked about earlier. But look, beam and floor. Brigham Young went to floor and they performed. They did a great job, solid landings, but their expressions were great. I really enjoyed the performance of those routines. Fun to watch. Arizona State on beam, he was concerned, the coach was concerned about their first person. That little freshman that went up first, Kayla Lee, she stepped up and filled a huge void. You can count on that the rest of the season. But moving through the rest of this meet, now it's time to put on those blinders. You got the first routine out of the way. Now it's no longer your
nerves
first
are gone
meet.
now. Now it's like normal.
Put on your blinders and let's compete. I want to see no fear. I want to see enthusiasm. I want to see kids going for handstands.
Being aggressive.
Yeah.
If you're going to be careful, you're going to be behind.
Yeah, do it like you do it in the gym. You know, it's no different. Just get out here and you've got a great atmosphere, a great crowd in here. It's an amazing event. So let's have some amazing performances moving forward.
I love it. Thanks, Dee Dee and Jess. We appreciate it. We'll see more of them as the competition continues. The leaders after rotation one, the Cal Bears, they move on to the uneven bars, an event that's historically been very good for them.
It is one of their signature events. Their lines and their attention to detail is incredible. I look forward to watching these performances because the way they warmed up, if they can compete that way, it will transfer into an awesome rotation for them.
The Cal Bears were 10th in the country at the end of the regular season on this event. And keep in mind, women's collegiate gymnastics, 25, 30 deep is a very competitive, a lot of parity. So a top 10 finish on an event like that is not an easy task, and certainly building on that here in 2023, I'm sure.
Well, it's amazing the parity that's taken place in college gymnastics, the amount of resources that schools have put into them, the ability for these ladies to be able to train at the highest level. It's just been awesome, and the sport continues to evolve.
Nevaeh D'Souza will lead things off. You talk about a consistent athlete. Looking through her past performances, I found 3 misses for her in her entire career, and here she is in her senior year. How much you love to have an athlete like that on your team?
That you call Steady Eddie. You want one of those on your team. So you see her being aggressive on her swing, on her handstands. She's just a beautiful athlete. She does that. Okay, there you go.
Sky high dismount.
That's a great start for a rotation, especially for an athlete that has competed all around her entire career, every meet except one.
Crazy.
Think about that.
Durability, really impressive. Now over to the balance beam, the Iowa Hawkeyes, as we mentioned, they are in the second position. Jaquavia Henderson, the senior, will start things off. What a star for this team. They're just 3/10 back of Cal. So as we go through this competition, we'll try to give you, gymnast per gymnast, how the scores are coming in the best we can.
Jaquavia is beautiful. She's actually talking about taking a COVID 5th year. Her coach wanted me to share that. I think that you watch her move, and she needs to be aggressive. Iowa has an awesome beam team. 3 of their 6 routines will be done by walk-ons, which I think is amazing. It speaks to their depth. Again, it's a bummer, but you've seen that happen in championship meets. First kid up, makes the mistake, and now the rest of them have to deliver.
It was a beautiful layout, step out too. Just looks like she did it with ease, but again, that's beam for you, right?
That's right. It's only 4 inches wide for a reason.
D'Souza for Cal on bars leads off with a 9.85, so early advantage in this rotation for Cal over Iowa, but again, you can drop the low score.
See how she prepares for this dismount. Every 10th counts. A huge double back. Big pop foot backwards, which will be a deduction, but you know what? That is some big gymnastics, and I love seeing those hard dismounts coming off the beam.
Larissa Libby, the head coach for the Iowa Hawkeyes in her 19th season. Finished last year as the 15th ranked team in the country.
Cool part about what's happening in Iowa, that over time they've been really working on a culture of bringing in those student athletes that love gymnastics, that are willing to put in the work, and she's really proud of where she's going. They've really been competitive for multiple years, and they have a lot of newcomers that can make a difference as they move forward.
So Kayla Lee waits to start off on the floor exercise. Gracie Reeves was the leadoff gymnast for the Sun Devils, a 9.55 for her. Not, again, that is a score that they will want to drop. Cannot count scores in the 9.5s in this competition, in my opinion, if you want to win it.
So true, and again, you want to start strong, end strong, and so when you have a weaker first performance, it does put more pressure on the next athlete that goes.
We're going to jump over to vault real quick while we're waiting for the judges on floor exercise. You can see what BYU has done their first two gymnasts. 9.75, 9.725 is Alex Mason from Rancho Cucamonga, California.
That's just fun to say, Rancho Cucamonga. I used to have an athlete from there. Full, nice distance, nice height.
Alex is the event captain for BYU, the vault event captain, and Guard Young said, we don't have an overall overriding captain, we have individual event captains. They consult them for training and how the team is doing on that event, even lineups. They let them get involved in their input on lineups. I thought that was pretty unique. I have not heard of that before.
I would agree that it's very unique.
Gracie Reeves score 9.525. Now Kayla Lee.
She sets up for this first tumbling pass. Let's see what she does here. Beautiful front handspring double twist. Combination pass, 1.5 front layout. She's actually going to do a 3-pass tumbling routine. We haven't seen a ton of those this weekend. I've seen a lot of 2-passers. Ends with a Rudy. She stays in bounds. She does a nice performance. They should be pleased with that.
Kayla Lee from Sunrays Gymnastics in Arizona, the same gym that Jade Carey came out of. Ryan Carey does a great job down there. Now quickly over to the uneven bars, and look at this clinic that Cal's putting on the uneven bars. Gabby Perea 9.9. Here's Maddie Williams.
Look at their toe point and their detail work. The handstands are on top of the bar. They're really being aggressive and going after it. That's gorgeous. Just that small step backwards, but again, you want to see them being aggressive. They're going to be able to find those landings as the season goes on, and she got the bear head.
Wait, don't you got a stick to get the bear head?
That's what I was thinking, you know?
That bear head's dangerous too, walking around a podium with the bear head on. Don't get too close to the edge. All right, Iowa on beam. You can see what Ebeling did there in the second spot. That is a big 9.85, stops the bleeding again after Henderson's 9.2 in the leadoff. 4 more gymnasts to go for Iowa. 3/10 behind Cal after the first rotation, as we saw Cal is rolling on the uneven bars. 4 critical routines for Iowa. They need 4 hits, or that lead looks like it'll be stretched out for the Bears.
I'm excited for this routine. She has a triple series in there. She has another walk-on that's performing for them. So I think that's just an awesome opportunity. She gets the full turn out of the way before she starts into her series. Again, that's a really difficult jump. It's a 3/4 split. Take your eyes off the beam.
Allison Zulke from Waukesha, Wisconsin, a junior.
Needs to bring her heels together, John,
Did she
right?
turn too quick? Did she turn? That's always the question.
That's
Did
right.
you hold it long enough?
That's right. It's a bummer she did wobble on that series because it was a really strong routine, but that's where she can make the improvement for the next time.
But again, a big save, a fall much more damaging than that save she had, trying to erase that 9.2 in the leadoff spot. Now back over to bars. Andy Lee follows Maddie Williams 9.85. Nothing lower than a 9.85 so far for Cal on bars.
Watch the amplitude on her skills here. She flies. Look at that, just one skill after another. Hits those handstands. She makes it look so easy.
Gotta stick it.
Boom! That's
Well
a stick.
done. It looks to me like another 9.9 for Cal on bars. You know, I told you this before the competition started about Cal, and I've watched them last year and watched them in training, and I thought to myself, if there's a team that's going to break into the top 4, meaning the last 4 teams standing at the end of the season, that isn't always there, the Floridas and the Oklahomas that you would expect, I think it's Cal. And it's not like they're coming from 30th. They are a top 10 team, but maybe not a team that people expect to see in that last 4 on that last day of the season. And I think that could be a team that could do it.
I would have to agree with you. There is just that fine line of the details, and that is what's going to make the difference. In talking to, well, I want to call her Coach Crandall all the time because Liz Crandall and I, but yes, she just said this group wants to work. They come in every day to get better every day.
And their coaches did say it's something special about that squad this year. But now back over to floor exercise. Jordan Jaslow, a 9.825 for Arizona State in the 3rd spot. Much needed because they are going to count a score in the 9.5s. This is Emily White.
Another beautiful double twist. Beautiful combination pass. She's a very clean athlete. As I watch her, I want her to unleash. It's like she's just holding back a little bit, and if she could really express herself, it would take it to a whole nother level. Sets up for her 3rd pass here.
Well done for Emily White. Comes out of Scats Gymnastics, a club my sister participated in, practiced at leading up to the '84 Olympics. So neat to see someone coming out of Scats. Now back over to the uneven bars. There you go. Andy Lee, 9.975, flirting with our first 10 here at the Super 16. Here's MJ Frazier finishing it off.
Get ready for some high-flying flipping. That was a beautiful combination. Oh.
Man. There's another look at what happened.
Just missed her dowel. It just like slipped. That right hand came off, and then she just didn't have the grip.
And if you don't know, those grips have what's called dowels in them. It's like a little rolled up dowel, a piece of rubber and leather that needs to go over the bar. Men have it, women have it. And if it doesn't, there's just no way to hang on. And glad to see she's back up.
That's amazing from that kind of fall to come back. And she nails the landing. This young lady is going to be a superstar in NCAA gymnastics. There's no doubt about it.
And I love seeing that. And we want to see her hit this routine, but I love the fact that was a tough fall. But she sat up, gathered herself, and she smoked one of the best double layouts you will ever see in women's college gymnastics. And that says something about her grit.
I call that a fighter. That's going to be somebody that's going to be resilient.
Absolutely. Now we're going to jump back over to the balance beam. Marissa Rojas follows Aubrey Nick, who is in the 4th spot for Iowa, and her 9.85. Big routine with this one, and just Adeline Kenlin yet to go.
You can see how she attacks the beam. Very difficult salto, a front tuck to a beat jump. Very well done. One of the actually most difficult skills on beam for college gymnastics, actually.
Has a high score in her career on this event of a 9.925, and that would really feel good for the Hawkeyes right now.
She really attacked that split jump, split 3/4. I mean, that's just aggressive, and it's a hard pass.
There you go.
She should be excited.
So we're going to jump back over to the floor. Emily White, a 9.825. Now Jada Mangajas, the 5th gymnast to go for the Sun Devils. BYU, by the way, they are done on vault. 4 scores in the 9.7s, 1 score in the 9.8. So consistent across the board. Not huge scores, but consistent.
A nice big pull in. She's excited about that first pass. To a double back dismount. That allows her to have that 2-pass routine, fit all the requirements necessary. She did a very nice job in the controlled landings. Gets her leap pass in there. John, this should be a great score for them. Well done.
Yeah, and they need a big score. Currently, they are counting a score in the 9.5s and 9.525. Mangajas, a Parkettes gymnast. Little known fact about Jada is she holds the high school pole vault record. Bet you didn't know that, did you, Dana? Back over to balance beam. Marissa Rojas, a 9.825. Here we go with Adeline Kenlin.
Adeline is the heartbeat of this team. She is the Energizer Bunny. She keeps everybody intact. She's constantly coaching everybody else. She wants it for them more than she wants it for herself. See that pretty cover right there? Lift of the leg.
What cover? I didn't notice the cover.
Oh, I didn't notice it.
MJ Frazier, by the way, on bars, a 9.4, so that'll be the score Cal drops. They have 5 great scores, though, so that will not hurt them significantly.
What a great way to anchor that beam. You know, she had an elbow injury, and she had to be able to come back. They weren't even sure she was going to be able to compete. And what's so awesome about her is she wanted it so bad, she actually created a one-arm beam routine where she never had to use her other arm until she got back to being able to use both.
Well, and it's my understanding, Larissa thought for a moment it might be a season-ending injury, and not only is it not that, she got herself back on the competition floor this quickly.
She just wants to be a part of this team. Again, they call her the pulse of this team. She just can demonstrate incredible gymnastics. You know, she was on the elite circuit for a while, and then she went back to level 10 and then went into college, and she's had a phenomenal career, and she's just been one of those rocks for their program.
We saw that score for Mangahaus there, a 9.875. You said it was going to be a big one, Dana, and you are spot on. Now, Hannah Scharf, the veteran for Arizona State. She will close things out.
She's beautiful to watch, which can let her performance speak for itself.
She's a member of the Canadian Gymnastics, was an elite gymnast rather for Canada.
Beautifully done, high landing control. The judges are looking for that. Your chest to be tall and be able to make it look like it's done with ease. Again, John, so far so good. This is a very clean routine. She had that combination pass of the front, full tuck front, and I thought, is that right? But I think it's because she's doing a 3-pass routine, and so she'll have enough bonus to get to that 10-0 start value. See how she handles this last pass. Beautiful. This again, they're standing and landing tall with complete control, and it's clean. So this could again score very well for them. Nice finish.
Great finish for Arizona State with that Hannah Scharf routine. Trying to put up a big number. They do have to count a 9.525 from Gracie Reeves in the leadoff spot. Coming into this rotation, they were just under 4/10 behind the leaders, Cal. Not going to close that gap after what Cal did, but if you're Iowa and Arizona State in particular, the second and third place team, you're not going to catch them on one of their best events, but you hope to just keep it close, right?
That's right, and that's that momentum that you build as a team, the opportunity to really stay in your bubble, right? Don't worry about the scores, focus on your performance, and truly allow your team to be one.
Cal darn near averages a 9.9 on their uneven bar rotation. They will move to the balance beam next, and they will be your leaders going into rotation number 3.
Gymnasts, please begin your touch warm-ups. The standings after the second event in fourth with a score of 9.
Welcome back to Orleans Arena and Super 16 Gymnastics presented by Ozone. John Roethlisberger, Dana Duckworth, halfway through this session. And halfway through, our biggest score from any athlete is Andy Lee from Cal. She put on a clinic on the uneven bars.
I would coin this precise. Her handstands were beautiful. That is the most gorgeous pack salt down to the low bar. Watch this flying splash half. It's just meticulous work. Full pirouette, double tuck. Nails that landing. Again, one of the most underrated athletes in NCAA gymnastics. The question is why?
Showing that she's not underrated there on the uneven bars, and that puts Cal in the front seat right now halfway through this competition. Iowa behind them, Arizona in third, BYU in fourth. 2 rotations to go. I want to hear what Didi and Jess have to say down in the Ozone coach's corner.
Well, we're going to go right into bars
Yeah.
because I was going to say the same thing. Cal just it basically illustrated what we were talking about at the beginning. That's how you do bars. It's fluid.
Yeah.
It looks effortless. It's not. It's really effort. It makes each skill a little less effort. But the way they did it, it was fluid from one skill to the next.
They have separated themselves with the very things that you're talking about. Cal is up here. We've got 2 teams fighting for second place in this. Iowa on beam and Arizona State on floor.
Yeah.
They are neck and neck in this competition. It's about consistency now. I love the rotation that Iowa has. They've got beam and bars out of the way. They can now go to floor and vaulting and just let it go. Just have fun.
I think, BYU had some big vaults. They showed some power. I will say that I'm starting to see a lot of landing issues, and I feel like a lot of these kids, it's early in the season, they're trying to land before their skill is done. They're bringing their feet down instead of their chest up on these landings, and that caught BYU a little bit. They could have had a little more score there. But if you just let yourself finish rotating, then you put your feet down, it'll be a lot easier.
Trust your training. Okay, we're halfway. Can't wait to see this rotation.
This is a big one.
As do I. Thanks, Didi. Thanks, Jess. One thing they kind of alluded to is these athletes just came off of Christmas break, and you talk about early in the season, but also early in the season after, you got to give the athletes a break at Christmas to go home. But a lot of these teams, in Arizona in particular, had 7 athletes have flight issues and didn't make it back in time for training. We're not going to dive into the airlines issues, but there was a lot of airlines issues. Almost every team mentioned it, and that takes away a couple days of training in a time where you can't really lose days of training, right?
It is the nightmare of all NCAA coaches, right? You send them home for a few days, they come back, and you're just praying that they don't get delayed too much, because literally you have 3-5 practices max before you start the season.
There is head coach Jay Santos of the Sun Devils in his 7th season.
So proud of how Jay and Jess built this program. I mean, last year they tied for the PAC season regular champs with 3 other teams. They've done a phenomenal job in building this program and continue to see that team grow and mature.
Now the Cal Bears. This is Nevaeh D'Souza, one of 4 all-arounders competing for the Cal Bears. What's interesting about the lineup, they only have 7 total gymnasts competing to fill all 24 of their lineup spots in this competition. Very unusual. A little akin to Michigan last year. They released a lot of the great teams that always have great all-arounders. They have 4.
Yes, and what Liz shared with me is they have 8 people training all around. And in college, that's actually very unique. I just am enjoying watching her perform. She is steady. She's a veteran. You can see that she loves to compete. When you take your eyes off the beam and smile, it just shows confidence.
What does it say about a team when your leadoff gymnast was top 25 in the country in the all-around last season after the regular season? That is your leadoff athlete. Must be nice.
It screams confidence. It screams depth. It just gives you the ability to start off, because that first performance really does set the tone for the rest of that rotation. And you want the other athletes to feel confident in the first person up. It's a game changer right here. And she nails that 1.5 landing. Very nice start.
Don't want to throw around mid-season form too often, but it feels like that for the Cal Bears. Now over to vault. Arizona State after the second rotation. 0.85 out of the lead. It might be Cal's meet to win, but again, a great battle here for second too, as we see Anaya Smith.
ASU has all your Chinko fulls. not a bad vault. She does take the big step back, which will have the deduction, but you know, if she can squeeze in the air a little tighter and get that landing, she could pull off a 9.9 on that vault because it's got amplitude, height, and distance.
The Yurchenko full, a 9.95 start value. The best teams in the country are probably going to have 4 or 5, even 6 10-0 vaults. So if you add that up, it can be a 3/10 swing on one event. So if you're going to do the Yurchenko fulls, the 9.95 start, you got to be clean. You got to stick a few of them, right?
Amen. That's for sure.
So we're waiting for the second gymnast here.
This is Maddie Williams. She is a beautiful athlete. I actually recruited her out in San Mateo. She was a very consistent competitor, and I know that she wanted to stay close to home. You know, you never know what those athletes want to do, right?
Yep.
And so she's just been a beautiful competitor for Cal. I love how she smiles when she mounts the balance beam.
Another one of the all-arounders for Cal.
Leading off with a very difficult squat double turn. I know we don't talk about values a lot, like E's and D's, but that is a difficult E-level skill. It gives her a 2/10 bonus to start again, trying to get to that 10-0 start value. The one thing we're looking for on beam are front skills, back skills, a variety of movement, forward, side, backwards. Right here, her series, a back handspring layout step out. You know, when you smile, it literally brings you down and centers you more. It's literally like physical. It changes it. That's a cool combination into a little beat jump stepping out of that.
D'Souza in the leadoff spot, a 9.875 for Cal. What a leadoff score.
Back handspring gainer full. You're going to see a lot of those, I think, this year in college. When the rules changed and you could no longer do a D or B into a B dismount, right? You took away the full twist at the end. It changed a lot of people's approach to what they were going to do. I was in a mixed camp. I feel like at the national championship, you should not be able to do a B dismount, even if it is preceded by a C or D skill. So that has definitely changed it up, and a lot of programs had to kind of find a plan for the summer to learn new dismounts.
So the Cal Bears continue to roll. Now we move over to floor exercise in Iowa. They are in the second spot after the last rotation, 0.725. That is a big lead, 0.725 behind the Cal Bears. But again, a lot of gymnastics yet to happen. Bailey Libby, freshman out of Iowa City, and also the daughter of head coach Larissa Libby.
How fun would that be to be able to coach your daughter? I mean, there's
I try to coach my son in baseball, and I'll tell you what, there's no fun involved at all.
I've been around baseball dads, John. Baseball dads are unique, that is for sure. But how proud would you be to be able to train, you know, be able to represent your family? It's just kind of cool.
Well, my dad was my coach through most of my career and in college, and I'll never forget, he came to me one day and said, John, you need to retire. After my Olympics in '96, he wanted me to retire because he couldn't handle coaching me anymore. But let's get back to business. MJ Frazier now, after that tough fall on the uneven bars, she mounts the beam after Maddie Williams, 9.9, so 9.875 and a 9.9 for the first two gymnasts for the Bears. Wow.
Remember earlier I told you she prides herself on difficult gymnastics? You're going to see a switch ring in her beam routine. It's a blind move, but she's got even a trickier combination. She's trusting a front to back combo. A front aerial, keeps the arms moving. That's hard.
Wow.
And risky. Right here, that switch ring, beautiful position into a split jump. That is a very hard combination. And to come back and perform like this after a fall like she had, a cartwheel one. Now that was awesome.
Where is the 10?
I don't know, it could be there.
The scores are building and the routines keep getting better. The judges are running out of room at the top of those numbers.
This was exquisite. I mean, right here, she does a cartwheel, which is a little different into the 1.5, so she gets the bonus, or the up to the level she needs to, and that is beautiful work.
You know, they always have these gymnasts to watch lists as you head into the season. Well, I'll tell you what, MJ Frazier is, if you already didn't know it, a gymnast to watch, and just how tenacious she is and how she competes in addition to her great gymnastics. Got to keep an eye on her.
She's also humble, and that's special. Humble, full of joy, and wants to be a great teammate.
Hannah Sharp will anchor the ASU vault lineup. They have 3 scores in the 9.7s, 2 in the 9.8s. Looking for a big one here. Can they get a stuck landing and maybe a 9.9?
That had good amplitude. If she could have stuck that landing, John, that would have been nice. But again, when you have 6 9.95 start values and you're competing against teams that have the 10.0 start value, you are at a deficit starting from the very beginning. So if you can nail those fulls, they can score as well as a 1.5 actually, but you can't do it with that step. So she flattened those hips. Should have, that was big vault.
So a good vault rotation for ASU. Can it be a battle for second, as D-Day mentioned, between ASU and Iowa? That might be the battle we focus on, because my goodness, Cal, 9.95 for MJ Frazier. Now your Andy Lee going up next. There's 3 athletes yet to go.
And
now,
they're all studs.
Are you thinking to yourself, man, this is going to be no pressure at all? Or are you thinking, man, this is an opportunity for a 10, right?
What you're doing right now is controlling your performance. Hopefully you're not thinking about what happened behind you, and you're not worried about what happens after you. You stay in the moment, and this is the athlete that has proven that she can do it. Andy Lee is beautiful, calm, confident. I love her work of her fingers and her hands and her feet. It's just that, again, that attention to detail that makes you stand out and just look that much more elite style. Just look how pretty. Looks like she's walking on the floor, John.
Let me know when you see a deduction, Dana, because it looks really good to me.
Oh, not the dreaded full turn! She
full
could try to
turn.
cover it, though. She kind of made it almost like a 1 1/4 into a dance move.
You know, again, to some people watching, it might not look like a deduction, but that is something the judges are going to move the pencil on, right?
You know, it depends on the view, right? So our view is different than theirs, and the beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So depending on what it looked like from the side, she may have covered it up. This is a cool dismount. A gainer tuck full, and another stuck landing. Okay, this is fun to watch.
Man, when you get momentum in gymnastics, and it's a unique momentum because it's an individual sport collectively put together into a team sport, and they're not connected, but there really is momentum between routines, right?
Absolutely, there's no doubt. It changes in the shifts of the energy, and I say the same time. It is a team sport with individual moments. That's how I define it. So take your individual moment and go shine under the bright lights.
Liz Crandall Howell's got to be loving it. And shout out to the Howells. Happy anniversary. They just celebrated their 11th, December 30th. So congratulations to them. Iowa's floor scores started slow, but a pair of 9.825s. That is big. Bailey Libby, we didn't get a chance to see her routine, but performed well in her first outing as a Hawkeye. Aubrey Nick will be the next one to go. BYU on bars, struggling a bit. Started with a 9.625, but then had a couple of misses. Low 9s. They're looking to finish strong there.
You know, Guard made a decision that they were going to train at home and not train on podium day. It was very strategic. He said, I had to do what was best for my team. And so you do wonder, is it beneficial to have that adjustment day? But he definitely felt strong in his decision to keep him home, be able to drive over and not miss a day of training. And so, you know, again, this is an awesome opportunity for them to experience podium this early in the season, to be transitioning into the postseason that hits in about March.
And I think he did say, I want to come and I want to have a good experience. And I want as many days at home training as I can, and just realize, like a lot of teams, had some challenges leading into this event. So not putting a lot of weight on his team to put up a big number, just wants to kind of get the season rolling and have a good experience here in Vegas.
And I think we're about to see a good experience on floor right here.
You got it, Aubrey Nick.
You know, these front double twists we have seen have been done very well this season. I mean, I'm seeing great execution, tight legs in the air. Disco.
Linda Zavat right before her, actually a 9.775. I thought it was a 9.825, but indeed half-tenth lower.
Beautiful height after that Rudy into the layout step out. Coach Libby says she's exemplifies work ethic. She's the ultimate teammate. She continues to get stronger every single year. It says a lot when your coach says she's the most amazing human being and we are blessed to have her on this team. So you know that spirit transfers into her entire team chemistry.
Culture's so important on these gymnastics teams. Quickly, Hannah Scharf's vault scored a 9.825 to close things out for Arizona State. They are done in this rotation. Andy Lee, a very disappointing lowest score for Cal in this rotation, 9.85. Which is still an outstanding score, but actually, believe it or not, the lowest score of the rotation for Cal, having an outstanding job there. Here's BYU on the uneven bars, Kylie Quinto.
There you go. She comes out to a good, strong. I will tell you, she's a newcomer to keep your eye on. She's one of the taller gymnasts. You know, I like tall gymnasts. I was told many times, you're too tall to be a gymnast.
You showed them.
That's right. Sure did. And right now, she's only going to be competing vault and bars, but Coach feels that she'll be an all-arounder very, very soon.
Dealing with some shin splints, I've been told, and not doing floor exercise. I've had shin splints. Those are so unpleasant. And a little rest. Just a little rest, man, that goes a long way.
It's one of those annoying things. It's like just itching at you, right? You're just sitting there and it's there, but.
So Maya Lazan was the 5th gymnast to go for Cal. She also put up a 9.85. I did catch a little bit of her routine. Man, it was beautiful, though. Took a hop on the landing. That was about all I saw. Gabby Perea now will be the anchor position here for Cal on balance beam. 3-time national team member.
Something to note about Gabby, she had been injured, and so she was kind of sidelined for a while. At the very end of last season, she went in on floor and started with a 9.9.
Little rest, right?
Yeah, there you go. Okay, now that was a front toss, back tuck, and that's a very difficult combination. So it'll be interesting to see if the judges give her that combination bonus or not.
Kylie Quinto on bars for BYU, a 9.825. So a couple very good scores for them after a slow start on that event.
See her fulfilling those lead passes. Coach Howell said that she has got wow factor as far as her lines and her look, and that she's one of the hardest workers on the team. This is a cool dismount.
I've never seen that. Have you ever seen that combination into a dismount before?
I think I have, but very, very seldom. There's a side semi into a tuck 1.5. She doesn't need it for bonus. It's just a wow factor. So I was saying wow factor, that's a wow factor. And you didn't see it coming.
No, did not see it coming. Did take a hop on that landing, but a clean routine nonetheless for Gabby Perea. Now Adeline Kenlin follows Aubrey Nick's 9.7. We're looking at the battle for second here from Arizona State and Iowa. Both of them putting up scores in the 9.7s and 9.8s, other than Iowa's leadoff, 9.075. That's the score they're trying to drop with 2 hits here from their last 2 athletes.
She flares out of that double twist. Adeline is just that talented. She's got some incredible look, feel for her. She's just dancing her heart out. Digging this music, John. It makes me very want to start moving.
You can feel it.
She's just clean as a whistle. Beautiful performance.
Head coach Larissa Libby has got to be so happy to see her on the floor when for a moment, not just a couple weeks ago, thought maybe she wouldn't be on the floor at all this season.
Well, I love a little attitude, and I love that she does it for her teammates, and I think that that is the culture that they are just trying to create, that it's not about me, it's about us, and we're going to do this together, and I'm going to do this routine for my girls versus myself.
Gabby Perea finished beam for Cal with a 9.775. One more floor exercise for Iowa. Jaquavia Henderson will go, but let's go back for Cal and look at Maya Lozanne's beam routine. I have a feeling Dana's going to love this one. Gabby. I believe this actually might be Gabby Perea, Dana.
Yes, she does the double squat turn and the front toss to the back tuck. So we have seen this routine. We're getting a chance to double check. What did she actually get on that score?
Gabby got a 9.775 for this routine. So
they gave her the combination, but they definitely took the deduction for the balance error in between. Kind of nice to get a second look.
Yeah, a couple different angles as well. I want to see that dismount again. Kind of took me by surprise.
Yes.
To me, Cal is one of those teams. The national champions, or the teams that make it to the last four standing, it's a stick contest for them.
Yep,
because their gymnastics is so good. Here it is.
Yeah, a little scoot back on that landing, but I saw her warm that up about 10 times and stick that thing. So when she gets it, it's going to really execute her routine. So the 9.775 is definitely justified because of the combination, and then of course the step.
What I was going to say about Cal, though, they seem like one of those teams, like the best teams in the country, that how many are you going to stick? Because we know your gymnastics is going to be great. And those are the ones that you see at the top at the end. So we'll see. Here we go. This is a good one, too, though. Jaquavia Henderson. This is one. Enjoy.
She is a beautiful athlete and a beautiful person inside and out. And eye-catching. Okay, a little short on that landing. They call her Q. She's strong, she's beautiful, she's committed and loyal. That is one beautiful athlete. She will do anything for her teammates, and she is determined to make the all-around, was what Coach Libby said. And you can see that she's got some grit and competitiveness in her.
Yeah, Larissa Libby did say she's not thrilled with where she is right now. Had an ab strain this summer that really limited her on vault and floor in particular, but looks pretty darn good to me. And certainly if she's only going to get better, it's going to be a big factor for Iowa.
She continues to come into her own. She will be a star. There's no doubt about it. But you know what? Iowa's got a great team developing right here.
So that'll wrap it up for the third rotation. We've got one more to go. Iowa moves to vault. ASU moves to the uneven bars. BYU goes to balance beam. the leaders, the front runners here after 3 rotation. The Cal Bears, they move on to the floor exercise. One more round of gymnastics when we come back.
Your lineup set you up to be able
Gabby's gonna go first.
Gymnasts, you can begin your touch warm-up. Standing after the third event. In 4 with a score of 145.65, Brigham Young University. In third with a score of 146.625, Arizona State University. In second with a score of 146.975, University of Iowa. And in first with a score of 148, University of California, Berkeley. And please welcome back from Las Vegas, Gibson Leadership Academy's drumline.
Welcome back to Las Vegas and the Orleans Arena. Super 16 Gymnastics presented by Ozone. It's been a great one again here in this session. It's been all the Cal Bears, and it's been because of performances like this one from MJ Frazier, one of the highlights of the entire competition, Dana.
This is a very difficult combination, a front aerial into an immediate layout step out. She just is calm and cool and collective, and right here gets the 1.5 and another stick. But what we don't know is she came after that fall, right, on bars, and then turned around and did that kind of performance. That's called a champion.
That was a 9.95. The Cal Bears with a comfortable lead, over a point ahead of the Iowa Hawkeyes, who are about 3/10 ahead of Arizona State. So that battle for second, I think, is going to be a good one between those two. BYU, meanwhile, sits in 4th place. All right, well, it's the last chance for you guys to get something right, Dee Dee and Jess. What do you got?
Well, I tell you what, Liz Crandall has done a great job with that team on beam. You look for their rhythm, their consistency, and how they finish their skills. She was locked in there. She had every chest where it needed to be. They gave us a beam clinic over there. Now they go to floor. Let's see if they can control their landings. But I think the story right now is who's going to finish second. Iowa, they dug a hole on beam. They came out of it. They dug a hole on floor. They came out of it. Now they're at vaulting. Arizona State goes to bars. Bars has been the difference maker.
Yeah.
You tell me.
Well, I think you're right. Cal right now is like driving the bus, and they're taking all of us to school at this point. So we're just going to let them see if they can hit a 197. The other ones, like 3/10 is a lot to make up. You almost have to mess up 2 vaults here. So we'll see. But I think right now, I think it's just see how good they can finish, how strong you can be at the end of the meet, and build on a little bit of momentum.
It's a horse race. Let's watch it.
Thank you, guys. So, Dana, advantage Iowa over Arizona State. Iowa on vault, Arizona State on bars. Do you agree?
I would have to say Iowa's got the advantage going into vaults. They did some really clean vaults. They have a vault that's actually named after one of their athletes, the Zulke. It's a cool front handspring Suk full. You haven't seen that very often. I do think they have some momentum, though, going into vault. And again, ASU's on bars. You never know.
They're going to have to be clean as we see Gracie Reeves get ready to perform. Another story here, obviously the big story, probably the Cal Bears. They have a chance to put up a score well into the 197s for an opening score. That's huge. We'll see.
That is a beautiful high single bar release move into an immediate shoot over, which just, again, when you do it well, it looks easy. Setting up for her big dismount, a double layout.
Woo, there, hey,
that's a stick.
Out to prove you and Dee Dee wrong, right?
I think so. I hope they do.
What a start for the Sun Devils. Gracie Reeves finishing up there, and we did mention Cal's big score they could put up. If they average a 9-9 for their 5 counting scores here, they're going to be at a mid 197, probably right on a 197.5. How big is that for the first meet of the year? Especially a big travel meet like this, you know, big stage, podium.
It would be huge. It would set you up in a great position moving into next week. I also feel like when you have that kind of performance, it might be their highest score ever in history to start the season, because that is a huge score if they can pull it off.
Gabby Perea will start to get that ball rolling here for Cal on floor.
Notice it was a round off into an immediate double tuck. Did not have a back handspring. You don't see a lot of that. And a reminder, remember, she did not do floor until the very end last season because she had been injured. So she's really coming into her own. Another round off double pike. So again, no back handsprings. Now, you do have to do a 3-skill pass at some point, which means she will do a 3rd tumbling pass that will have to have 3 skills in it. But to be quite honest, I don't have a deduction yet. I'm watching this going super clean. Controls the lead pass. Just needs to hit this last pass, John. This is incredible. A little loose in the layout, but other than that.
But strong start again.
A great start.
All right, quickly over to vault and Iowa. Gianna Masella was the leadoff, 9.75 for her. Now Kendall LaPlante is up. Gracie Reeves a 9.85 for Arizona on bars. So we talk about that 3/10 lead, giving up a little after 1 gymnast for each team.
Front handspring, Suk full. That is so cool.
That is amazing.
I love that vault. Wow, that is the coolest vault. I hope we get to see it again. Front handspring onto the board versus a round off like you've seen. Suk onto the table, tuck full off.
We had a gymnast at Minnesota when I was training called Carrie Houston, as we see another look, that did a handspring onto the board in practice. Now, you're crazy, and here we are. He was ahead of his time. That's pretty impressive.
The Zulke, that's what I want to, let's call it her last name. Now, was it a stick, though? I don't know.
We'll give it to her. So back over to the uneven bars. Sienna Samali was the second gymnast, 9.65 for her. So a little step back on the second gymnast. Now Jada Mangahouse is the third gymnast to go.
She sets up for a big, you've seen a lot of Jaegers this season, right? Pipes and straddled Jaegers into the immediate low shoot over. Sets up a little short on both her first and last handstands. That's going to be something that's going to take a little deduction. She sets up with the full in and a little small hop. So just little small 0.05s, 0.05s here or there.
You got to hit. Your Arizona State, you just got to hit. Hope you have that opportunity. You can't control what Iowa's doing on vault, right?
So I said, stay in your bubble, focus on what you can control, and let the outcomes take care of themselves. Next up on vault is Karina Nunes.
So waiting to see what's going on over on vault. Early in the season especially, Dana, it seems like the lineups are more nebulous. You know, you got some changes, athletes getting in season shape, and you kind of pare that down as the season goes on. So a lot of these changes here today.
Absolutely, and I actually may be wrong. This may be...
Score so far in for Iowa, 9.75 in the leadoff, 9.875 for the second gymnast to go. Still waiting for Mangahous's score on bars. Alex Mason led off for BYU on beam with a 9.85. Gabby Perea a 9.85 for Cal on floor. And I am told this is Kendall LaPlante. They're having fun, though.
That's
Keep
right.
them loose.
And that's exactly what Coach Libby wanted them to do, right? Just do what they do every day, come into their own, enjoy the moment. It really is a great crowd. It's a great environment. I mean,
They got a band.
This Super
They got a band
16
over there.
Las Vegas it's going on, you know?
It's been a good time as we see Nevaeh D'Souza. She will be the next gymnast to go for Cal on floor. Co-head coach is Crandall Howell giving her some words. Two gymnasts have gone for Cal on floor. We talked about that 9.9 average. That would put them at a 197.5 for their opening team score. They have 2.985, so a half-tenth per routine off that pace. However, to start with 2.985s, you don't really expect those to be 9.9s. You expect the last three or four.
To build. Yeah, I will say this is a research project. It's what Coach Howell shared, is that every day is a research project. We're going to learn about ourselves. So they're learning a lot tonight. A running Rudy, a little different than what we've seen. That may be the first one we've seen in this competition so far. A little bit of a bounce on that landing. Again, that's about the podium, the extra bounce that you get, learning to absorb and control.
In case you're wondering, that step back did stay within the white lines. We got a great view of it from where we're at.
I'm enjoying this choreography. It's just like fun and smooth and has a lot of the attitude. Little breathing time to get in that corner to set up for that last pass. A round off 1.5, front full, she stays in bounds. That gives you 3/10, John. That's a big pass, especially to do it last. Gorgeous.
Third routine for the Cal Bears. Felt like you're talking about the 9.9. We're watching that 9.9. didn't feel like, a little bouncy on the landings, didn't feel like it's going to be over a 9-9.
There were definitely places where there were small deductions. Again, you know, this is the new, the platform is a little more bouncy. You have to get the adrenaline down and be able to control those things. But again, those are little small things that they can work on. But I definitely feel like there were enough little deductions that she might not break the 9-9.
So Arizona State on bars having a very good rotation. Started out with a 9.85. They do have a 9.65, but a hit from Sarah Clark right here will erase that 9.65 because they have a 9.8 after that, 9.775, and a 9.875 from Emily White moments ago.
This is a huge bar routine. It's super
Big
important.
time.
Yes.
Trying to catch Iowa. They're trying to
Good
make
hands.
up 3/10 coming into this rotation.
Straddle Jaeger
Wow.
into a big kip.
Fingertips.
She saved that one. Beautiful pack, a little separation, a little heavy on that like catch. She gets the half pirouette. Not flawless, but still not bad. Beautiful handstand. Oh, she wanted it. She wanted that.
Giving the Sun Devils a chance to beat Iowa, trying to make up 3/10 of a point. That should be a big number, probably about a 9.8, maybe higher. BYU on balance beam. They've got 2 scores in the books so far. 9.85 for Alex Mason, Heidi Schooley a 9.075 in the third one. From Eliza Millar, a 9.1. So a couple mistakes here from the second and third gymnasts. Mina McGrath is the fourth one to go.
Guard shared that this team has really put a lot into their preparation this season, that they've really just had this mentality of we're going to work harder than anybody else. So they're putting the work in.
Great story about Guard Young, he told me, and I had to chuckle because he comes from the world of men's gymnastics, was a BYU gymnast when he competed college. And he went to trained with Mark Williams for the Olympic Games. He's an Olympian, obviously. Coached at Oklahoma as well. And he said the first time he set a set of women's uneven bars, he was a head coach at BYU. And he said he had to YouTube how to set the bars.
I love it.
Went to his first meets, brought 2 iPads, one to film his team, one to film the other team so he could learn from them. The other team finally said, hey, you can't be filming our team. And he said, that's all right. It didn't take him long to figure it out. And to his credit, he went in as a student of the game, and he's learned, and he's got perennially a top 20, top 25 team in the country. It's amazing.
And they've done it consistently year after year, so it's not like it's a one-time thing here. This beam routine has been, she's attacking it, but there have definitely been some wobbles here and there, so she's got some deductions, but she's plugging away at it. Full dismount, she gets the stick. It's a nice way to close out that routine. Don't you love beam? Beam is just one of those make or break events. It is what wins or breaks championships all the time, for sure.
How can you, you're a national champion on beam, so I get it, but man, I don't know. It stresses me out. I remember watching my sister on beam, and I could barely open my eyes. Stressful event.
It is a stressful event, but it's also an event that's just about being meticulous, being in the moment, staying in the moment.
Linda Zavat, a few moments ago on vault. Again, great battle between Arizona State on bars and Iowa on vault.
A soup layout full, a beautiful vault, and she sticks it. Oh!
She is pumped.
That was impressive, and that was a gorgeous vault. She had a tightness on the table. She had a distance, she had height, and she had the stuck landing.
And
Very well done.
And the judges agreed with you, a 9.925 for that vault. You're looking at the Arizona State scores. They have 4 scores at 9.8 or above, 1 score of a 9.775. Iowa on vault, putting up some big numbers, especially with that 9.925. Looks like they have a chance to hold on to the second spot. With 1 to go. Now back over to Cal. Maya Lauzon, 9.925 in the 4th spot. Now Andy Lee.
I have a story with this routine. This is so exciting. She went to hip hop. She got into a hip hop troupe at Cal to be able to add different personalities. So she starts off with this classic, beautiful look, and you're gonna see her slowly drag and walk into a box, and then she's gonna come out of the box and watch. Here she walks in, pulls, and unleashes. All of her tumbling is front. That's why you saw the layout step out in the middle of her dance to fulfill the requirements. She's a beautiful gymnast, meticulous, clean. Ooh, I love that.
Awesome.
Better than awesome. That was gorgeous. And what a fun new routine. You know when you get to do the new routine the very first time, you go, okay, what is this gonna be? How's it gonna feel? And she looked like she'd been doing it forever.
What a start for the Cal Bears here in the opening weekend of women's collegiate gymnastics. Iowa coming in again to this fourth and final rotation in second place. Jaquavia Henderson was the final vaulter. Linda Zavat, a 9.925. Right before her, here's what she did.
That's a big Yurchenko pull.
Beautiful.
You land that thing, you're gonna go 9-9. That's had a hop back, so there'll definitely be a deduction there. But you gotta give it to Iowa. They did not hold back for a second. They went after it, and look at those scores.
9.85 for Jaquavia Henderson. And that will be enough with that final vault to hold off Arizona State's great push on the Indian bars. We'll get the totals for you later, but Iowa does maintain that second position. Andy Lee, a 9.9 for her floor team. Now MJ Frazier will close things out.
I'm stoked for this performance. She's got a huge double layout. I mean, again, powerful, but also flexible. Hey, John, I think she's going to be a rock star. How about you?
I think that's the easiest prediction in the history of mankind.
I think so, too. Look at that ring position. That is gorgeous right there. Showing off personality. Look at the musicality. Two salto pass. Oh, wow. Not bad for a freshman.
Outstanding. And that is going to blow past a 9.9 in my opinion. Andy Lee right before got a 9.9. That felt better to me.
Oh, that was clean. That had huge tumbling. It had exquisite dance. I mean, just front through, double back. Her chest is tall when she lands it. There's no deductions there. What a breakout performance for your first collegiate meet of your career.
Last beam worker here in the fourth and final rotation will be Elise Rollins. She is a senior out of West Jordan, Utah. At the end of the regular season last year, she ranked 14th in the nation on this event. She is their beam captain. As we mentioned, Guard Young has event captains for each of the 4 events, and she is that for the balance beam.
It really is a unique idea to have a captain per event, right? Because different people have different strengths and they can bring different gifts to the table. So I do think that that's a unique way of looking at it. But you know what, Guard's always been pretty smart. He has a way of doing things a little differently and unorthodox, which I think it makes them unique, makes them one of a kind. And that's exactly what you want. You want your program to stand for itself and not try to be like anybody else. And I think that he's done a great job at BYU doing that. He loves to brag on his athletes. So he's very proud of the demeanor and the work they've put in so far.
I'd love to know what's being said in that huddle right now. Maybe you get a day off. Maybe it's, hey, you guys take a day off.
Well, remember their one day better mentality? I just think they got one day better. They were ready.
I think they just blew past a month better. I don't know. Here we go with Elise Rollins.
Love to see when a beam worker is smiling. It means they're calm, they're confident. She does a beautiful jump series. Nice flexibility, well over the 180 split you're looking for. Front aerial into a back handspring layout. That is a awesome combination. It's an elite level combination. It's hard to do. You got to get that connection and stay steady. The full turn. Okay, let's show some sass on the beam. That was a rock solid performance. Way to end the meet.
An up and down meet for BYU today, but what a way to finish on a high note right there. Guard Young hopes that this can be a top 20 team again this season. He's done it year after year. But today has been for the Cal Bears. They came out strong right from the beginning, and they just continued to roll one event after the other. They flirted with that 197.5. It's a 197.475. We'll have all the scores when we come back.
He should know.
The Super 16 is brought to you in part by Ozone Leotards, Paradigm Treatment, and the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Bureau. Today belonged to the Cal Bears. They run away with this on a 197-475, an unbelievable opening season score for any team in the country. The Iowa Hawkeyes right behind them, then Arizona State in the third spot. They made a great run on that last event, but it wasn't enough. BYU, an up and down day for them. They finish in fourth position. Well, we're going to take one more trip to the Ozone Coach's Corner. Didi and Jess, give us your final thoughts.
Well, I think my final thoughts are Cal looks mid-season form right now. They did a great job of like routine construction. They put stuff in early in the season, obviously, that was easy to hit for the kids, and they were easy to perfect. And the rest of the teams, it's not like they look like first meet of the year. They look like they can build, but Cal looks mid-season right now.
And you know what? They were physically prepared for the challenge of this meet. They stepped up and did what needed to be done, and then exceeded that. You know, and they won, but you know what winning is? Winning is realizing what's important now, and they came to win, because you know it's important to create that, not just the perception but the reality that we're a championship team, and they did that.
Yeah, they set the bar high. Now they get to keep that score the rest of the year, and that's a nice away score to keep.
But look, the dogfight today was Iowa, our Big Ten school. They fought throughout this competition. And you know how tough it is to go to beam, have a fall, and then your next 5 people hit. They went to floor, had a fall, and the next 5 people hit. As a coach, you take a deep breath, you look your kids square in the eye and say, let's go. Now it's time for you to step up. And they did that.
Yeah, and I think Arizona found out how hard it is to come back on bars. If you're following somebody and they go to vault, it's almost impossible. You got to hit everything, and they took a couple steps on those landings. Otherwise, they could really close the gap.
Yeah, but you know, let's give the credit where credit's due. That coaching staff, they started. They knew what their weakness was. Their weakness was vaulting. They went out and fixed that problem from last
Cal
year.
Cal did a great job with that.
Yeah. So my coach of this session was Liz, and her husband at Cal, Justin at Custom. They were amazing.
All right, thank you, Didi. Thank you, Jess. Great job, you guys. Dana, I want to get your take on it. We heard from Jess and Didi. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, a huge congratulations to Cal, but actually all 4 teams now have a starting point. There's new faces in the lineup. There's new opportunities. They'll all go home. They'll evaluate their performance. Where can we do a lot better? What can we do and change? At the same time, all of these women had an opportunity to learn, grow, adapt, and get better.
Well said. Cal Bears showing the world, showing the country that they are going to be contenders this season, no doubt. For Dana Duckworth, Didi Bro, Jess Grava, I'm John Roethlisberger saying so long from Las Vegas, the Orleans Arena, and congratulations to the Cal Bears. They win the session. Iowa in second, Arizona State in third, and BYU in fourth. So long, everybody.